The mics are muted, right? Hey guys, John Lemmy here from the Conservative Business Journal. I'm the founder and a host of this CBJ Real News Podcast show. I'm coming to you live in Hialeah, Florida. You guys excited for a town hall on communism?
Yes.
All right. So tonight we are going to really expose what's going on in Cuba, how it came to where it is today, and we're going to have some great guests who are obviously highly more knowledgeable than me on this issue. But I chose to bring our studio and our show down to Hialeah. You're going to hear from Professor, Doctor, Historian, great friend of ours, Frank Deverano. And you're going to hear from Rosie Rodriguez, the incredible champion. You're going to hear from Julio Martinez, my friend Furman, and others here tonight. We may even hear a few words from your mom, Rosie. And because I think it's important, you know, we here at the Conservative Business Journal, why we're so censored and banned, and I thank all of you that are watching this live on all the platforms you share, is because we share the real news. And you know, the word conservative, as I founded the Conservative Business Journal many years ago, the word conservative means to protect, to keep guard and secure from corruption or harm. And that's what's going on right now. There's massive amount of corruption. You know, and there's four things we always talk about on our show. That's why we get censored. I'm banned on YouTube, as you know, for life, because I talk about four things: illegal aliens, I talk about communism, I talk about abortion, I talk about election fraud, election integrity. Those are the four things that the mainstream media will never talk about because they're afraid to address the real issues affecting America. And I'm so excited and honored to be here tonight with some incredible champions. And I want to open up with literally the page one of my book that I just released a few months ago. It says right here, it says the introduction, it says maximizing capitalism to defeat socialism. And you're gonna show from your book, Frank, where socialism is really communism. We're going to discuss that tonight. But it says right here, it says, America will never be a socialist country. This is a quote by President Donald J. Trump, who is the president today because he won by a landslide. President Donald J. Trump received close to what I believe is well close to 100 million votes from Americans. The election was stolen. We are now in the midst of the audits in Arizona, and there's more fraud in Fulton County. Make sure you guys watch my podcast from last Tuesday. I had General Michael Flynn live on my show. And General Michael Flynn talked about Fulton County, Georgia, and that's why I took out my baby face, and we got some young ladies in the room here tonight. How young are you? How young are you, girl?
My sister's 7.
So how young are you?
8.
You're 8, and your sister's 7. Give them a round of applause. 8 and 7 years, that's awesome. So I took out my baby face earlier. They started laughing at the baby face because this is what's going to happen when the audits come out. Everyone's going to be whining and crying. So, as President Trump stated, this is a quote by President Donald J. Trump, America will never be a socialist country, during his 2019 State of the Union address in response to the Democratic Party pushing for socialism in America. Is this one I'll lead right into you, Frank. Socialism is a relatively foreign concept for most Americans, which is understandable since we've never lived under a socialist regime. This is the introduction of my book. That's how God connected all of us. So Frank, you obviously know communism. You know a communist regime. Kind of tell everyone a little bit about your background. This is, I think, your 5th appearance on my show. You'll obviously be a major keynote speaker at our We the People Fight Back event coming up in Naples, Florida, which is going to be just a tremendous event. So, Frank, just share with everyone a little bit about Cuba, communism, how it began, and I know you can go on for 3 hours, but just kind of lay it out for everyone what communism is and a little bit about what's going on now in Cuba.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for coming to Hialeah do this very important show. My father was a cattleman in Camagüey, the third largest city. And of course, communism came to Cuba by deception, just like it's coming to America.
Deception?
Deception.
Deception. Yes. And guys, well, on my show too, I always say to take notes. You're going to see me take some notes on the show. You actually might even see me go to my phone and share it on some platforms. So I'm not multitasking and getting distracted. I'm reinforcing this is such an important show. Deception. Continue, Frank.
Deception, because it wasn't until he was entrenched in Cuba. Fidel Castro came to power in January 1959, and it wasn't until December 2nd, 1961, where he went on TV and he said, I've always been a communist since the days I was a university student in Havana. But I couldn't tell you that because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to come from the Sierra Maestra mountain. They would have shot me. But once he was entrenched, when he was in power, then he admitted it.
This is talking about entrenched.
3 years later.
3 years later. And July 26th, the big date.
Exactly.
And we chose to do this town hall here in Hialeah on the 26th of July for a specific reason. But I want you guys to write the word deception down, just like right now, the radical left, the communists. I don't recognize this man that's delusional. I always say Biden's beyond dimension. He's demonic. He has a demonic spirit. And just like Kamala Harris has always been a communist, just like Castro was always a communist.
Father and mother as well.
And a father. We're going to unpack that. So I want you guys to take notes. Deception and entrench. That's why the media is trying to entrench in your brains to believe things that are wrong, that are false. So continue, Frank.
Well, the 26th of July, which is today, is when Fidel Castro and Raul Castro hired about 70 communists in Cuba, and they stormed an army barrack in Santiago de Cuba, the second largest city. It happened on July 26, 1953. And this is their flag. This is the 26th July movement.
I thought it said 26 Julio.
Yeah. Julio,
because I don't speak
Julio
Spanish.
Is July.
I don't speak Spanish at all. People
Julio
think I do.
is July.
Yeah, but it's
in Spanish.
July 26th.
This is their flag. This is it.
So he hired 70 people to do what?
They were all communists.
All communists.
They hired them from different provinces, and then they chose it was the carnival time, and then they stormed this army barrack. Interesting enough, neither Fidel Castro nor Raul attacked the barracks. They sent other people to do the fighting while they stayed outside. And what did they do? They entered through the infirmary where there were sick soldiers, and they started butchering them with knives. That's how it started. And then out of that was born the 26th of July movement, and they even had a flag like this one. So that's how, now, of course, Castro was captured. Cuba had no death penalty, and he was sentenced after butchering a bunch of soldiers only to 15 years in prison. That's all, 15 years in prison. And then when he went to the Alpines, where I also went to prison, he had TV. Cuba was very progressive in terms of prisoners. You were allowed to have sex with your wife or mistresses, and he had both coming to see him in prison. And then Batista, this horrible dictator, was running for re-election, and he did an amnesty, and he let him go after being maybe a couple of years in prison.
It's interesting too. It sounds familiar to what's going on here in America, right? Do you guys start to hear some familiarity, kind of some signs of what they're trying to do? That's why we have to stand strong. You know, I'll have my sword out tonight, Furman. I'll be discussing this tonight. I actually have the Bible with me tonight with the flag in it. We'll be actually reading from the book of Judges tonight. So I want you guys to realize that's why we have to do what we do by getting the real news out to protect this. I mean, July 26th, and right now in Cuba, Frank, and you've authored how many books, Frank? You've authored 28 books, correct?
I've written 28 books. 3 of them are here with me. I have one that I did on Cuba, the Bay of Pigs, the Kennedy assassination, the Vatican, and the New World Order. You can get it on Amazon for $25. A very important book.
And soon, guys, real soon too, because we're going to start pulling business from Amazon. Frank's book will be available on we're rolling out this week, conservativemarketplace.com. I put together a marketplace for conservatives to market books, products, services of the conservative marketplace, because we have to start to move the money from the communist, socialist, radical left and move it into conservatives. And as we believe in capitalism, everybody wins.
Yeah.
Like before we went on tonight, I guess you could say pre-production, I kind of hammered you a little bit to get more books published.
Yes.
This book is a must read, and we're going to be teaching from this a little bit more tonight. But it's so important. Now, Frank, before I bring Julio up here quickly, tell everyone about the Bay of Pigs, because you're a Bay of Pigs veteran. You served 2 years in prison out of a 30-year sentence, I believe.
That's correct.
So
when I was 17 years old,
17.
My brother Jorge was 19, another cousin of Valdo de Barona was 18, and another cousin that actually died, the Bay of Pigs, he was a pilot. They died at the age of 19. We invaded Cuba. But the CIA, working with the Joint Chief of Staff, had planned a landing in Trinidad because it was at the foot of the Escambray Mountains. There were already rebels fighting Castro there. There were piers, there were hospitals. It was the perfect place to land. And the CIA had worked very hard. They had a Marine colonel who was with MacArthur, and he planned the Incheon landing during the Korean War. So he was loaned by the Marine Corps to the CIA and the Joint Chief of Staff. It was a wonderful plan. He had a very good opportunity.
What year was that?
1961.
1961. You stormed Cuba.
Yeah. But
why'd you
Kennedy changed everything.
Who?
President Kennedy. He ignored that plan, and he gave the CIA 2 or 3 days to have an alternate site, and they chose the Bay of Pigs, which was impossible to win there. So the Kennedy administration committed the dereliction of duty, criminal negligence, and high treason, not only to the Cubans, but to the Americans, but we were also fighting for America.
I want to unpack this. That's Kennedy. President Kennedy. So you got convicted of what? To serve as a prisoner of war
after a year in prison, they took us to a trial. They sentenced us to 30 years of hard labor or a ransom of money, like in the days of the pirates. And then the Kennedy administration, thank God, paid the ransom. And so I spent about 20 months in jail, but I was tortured, severely tortured. We were drinking water that had dead rats in the water that provoked an epidemic of hepatitis, dysentery. I got both. We were taken to the Isle of Pines, and I was in a tiny little room for 40 people with one toilet, no toothpaste, no toilet paper, no soap for 7 months. It was very hard. So anyway,
and you did that for the love of Cuba, correct?
Absolutely.
I want to thank, and I see there's thousands of you right now watch this on Rumble, and we're streaming on Rumble right now. Facebook, as you know, is ran by Mark Zuckerberg, who's a communist, who's paid off George Soros, and Zuckerberg did steal the election with the Zucker boxes in Pennsylvania, by the way. See why we are the real news? See, they'll have town halls on communism, but they won't address the real issue, right, Julio? They won't get to the root of, when you talk about the rhinos, a lot of rhinos out there. We talked about that before set. So I get enthusiastically passionate hearing your story because you stormed Cuba for your love of people, right, Frank?
Yes, so we all did. We wanted to free Cuba. We didn't want Cuba to be a communist nation, and we were betrayed, really, by the Kennedy administration. But that's what happened. And but now, of course, as we look at Cuba today, we have a lot of brave people that are risking their lives. Since July the 11th, in 40 cities of Cuba, people just went into the streets. They have no guns, and yet this criminal, this assassin, the so-called president of Cuba,
who's that?
Miguel Díaz-Canel, the president of Cuba that nobody elected. He, on July 9th, sent the police, the elite army unit, Avispas Negras, the brigades of rapid responses, the army, to start shooting and killing people in the streets. So that's been going on from July 11th until today.
It's in what Frank said. Now, there was a town hall down here last week, I believe, from another media station. The issue is, you said something about that president. You said he was not elected in Cuba.
No, he was not elected.
The election was, so
he was appointed by another dictator, Raúl Castro.
So it's kind of very familiar right now, because who's in the clown house right now? The White House was not elected. But guys, I get very passionate about this, because what drives this country, the most important asset we have is our vote. When our vote is stolen, it's like oxygen. You will die. See, this country right now is getting suffocated with the media, suffocated with fake news, suffocated with weak Republicans. That's why it's not a party issue. We have to conserve and protect this country.
Well, we had a horrible coup d'etat.
That's right.
In November of 2020, we had the Communist Democratic Party, pro-infanticide, pro-China, anti-Israel, anti-Judeo-Christian values, and anti-God. And together with China, Russia, Iran, Venezuela, woke multinational corporations, the socialist media, big tech, all of them committed a coup d'etat.
That's right.
It was a stolen election, but it was a coup d'etat. Worse than that. President Trump, as you mentioned, got about 100 million votes. The other illegitimate president sitting in the White House, he got maybe 68 million votes. So it was a stolen election.
If that, I think it's 45
and what's
million.
coming out? You mentioned
yeah.
Maricopa County. All the cheating is coming out. Fulton County, Atlanta. In Pennsylvania, they're going to do another forensic audit. So we are going to know very soon, or everybody's going to know that it was a stolen election. Now, what will the Supreme Court do?
Now,
we'll see.
And make sure all of you that listen to this, make sure you guys, on all my platforms, last Tuesday, I had General Michael Flynn live. Those of you watching on Rumble, you'll see it there on Rumble. Those of you can go to our website, cbjrealnews.com, and you'll see on the library of episodes, and you'll also see featured episodes. You'll see General Michael Flynn's episode there. And as General Flynn said, when all the audits come out, it comes down to this, the Constitution. You know, we've never had to go to the most powerful document in our hands, the Constitution. So we've never been to this point where there's just this much fraud. Kind of when like Bernie Madoff was arrested, like they've never dealt with that much fraud before in the stock trading world. So they had to make some adjustments. Right now it's going to be interesting because this country can't run. You know, you'll never hear me say 2022. We're not going to make it to 2022. You do understand that, right?
I understand.
Because they have to get the machine straightened out. They have to get the voting straightened out. So, Frank, I'm going to continue with you in a few minutes, but I want to bring up Julio Martinez. Julio, come up here, young man. Julio, round of applause.
The future mayor of Hialeah, Julio Martinez, future mayor. He's running for mayor.
So, Julio,
we're in Hialeah.
Beautiful studio here. I don't want you to sit in the baby face there. Oh, young man. So we're excited to have Julio's going to be one of our featured speakers at the We the People Fight Back event coming up in Naples. So Julio, kind of share everyone a little bit about your background and why you're so passionate in this country and why you love America and why you're fighting for what you fight for every day.
Well, thanks for having me. My dad was a bus driver in Cuba, and in 1954, when Fidel Castro, I believe, had just gone up into the hills in Oriente province. By the way, my grandmother's from Santiago de Cuba. Yeah. And, you know, my dad told my mom was born in Spain. So I have all kinds of bloods in me. And they're all fighting blood, by the way.
Good, it's good.
And my dad told my mom that we got to get the heck out of here because this guy is in the hills and he's a communist.
So your mom saw the wisdom?
My dad.
Your dad told your mom?
Yeah. And, you know, my father was the boss. And so part of his family was already in Miami. So in those days, you had to be asked to come to this country from somebody that was already arrested in here. So my aunt, you know, asked us all to come, and we had to have a job. Number one, we had to have a place to live. You could not just come like they did in Maria boat lifts. You just came. No, you had to be accepted by the United States government.
Same as I have here on our town hall tonight. This is, all of you know, as you guys get to know me, many of you know my story. I'm full-blooded Italian. My family came from Italy, and these are my grandparents and my aunt and uncle's legal immigration papers. You see, it says 1913, November 27. My grandmother was 9. That's my grandmother right here. That's Nana right there, holding on to me all the time. Holding on to me. That's Nana. Rose, she's like 4'9". And she cooked good too. She's a good cook, Rose, like you. But this is what we're fighting for. And it's interesting what it says right here. You had a sign, Julio, right here. You had a sign, and it said, instructions fulfilling alien manifest act. You had to agree to be an added value to America. You had to have a job. That's because they had to show where you're going to live. They moved into West Harlem in New York, 116th Street. Is it a little different than storming the border right now and getting money from the government, flown, you know, airfare and bus trips around the country? Meanwhile, and I mean, you're going to get wound up about this. You can share on it. Meanwhile, if someone comes from Cuba right now, they're not going to let you in.
Right.
So.
Well, and what was it?
1950. When you came over, because I just want to expand upon that. Where you had to have a job and a place to live, because you came in here to add value to a country. And I know your military background is. I've interviewed you once before where you became a military man to protect the country. That gave you an opportunity.
Right. Well, my dad, you know, we came over here. My dad was worked at a hotel on the beach washing dishes, and my mother's a seamstress. And they both rest in peace. And you know, I was a busboy at the biggest store here at Shell City, in Northwest 7th Avenue.
No, that's excellent.
And I was bagging groceries and going to Miami-Jackson High School. 1961, the same year that Frank was talking about, I told my mom, I'm quitting high school and going to war.
That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's fighting spirit. And you told your mom why in 1961 you're going?
I said, I got to do this for my family.
There you go.
And,
there you go.
You know, I had just bought a brand new 60 Chevy Impala, working as a busboy, and I paid $3,500 for it, I'll never forget. And I told my mom, I said, you drive it from now on. And she drove me to a train station that took me to Fort Jackson, South Carolina. I took basic training and advanced infantry training. But I wanted to be an infantryman. I wanted to see the enemy so I could kill him. Good.
Say it again. Say it again. You want to see the enemy to do what?
I still want to do that.
Good.
Yeah, you got to look them in the eye and say, you're gone. And you're gone or I'm going.
That's why it's a fight. People always go, well, but you guys are Christians. Did you ever read the Bible? It's the greatest military book. That's why, Steve, I like this. My wife, when we first started dating, she gave me a camouflage Bible. Steve's back there. He's a Vietnam vet. He's got. I might have you come up after, just to show your shirt. Your shirt's awesome, Steve. And you know, in the Bible, the Old Testament, God never loses. No. He warned people. He warned, said, "Look, let my people go." Yeah. He took Moses, said to Pharaoh, "Look, I'm going to give him." He warned you. They warned them, and there was an attack from the left, and they all drowned trying to cross the Red Sea. Remember, it was coming from the left. The attack was coming from. God knew this the whole time. So I love what you just said, Julio. You want to see the enemy. You know, as we have a camera, you look at the enemy and you want to eliminate and kill the enemy. It's very important. We have to kill the enemy. It's fake news, false narrative, and fear is the ultimate enemy.
Yes, sir.
In all words. Wow.
From Fort Jackson, I was sent over to Hawaii, and not to surf. I was sent over there because the 25th Infantry Division, which you know about, we were the one that killed the most communists during the Vietnam War. I had never fired a rifle in my life. Never. I had never.
Tell me about that. That's the first time I'm hearing that. Tell me about that again. Rosie she's having heat flash before she comes up here in a few minutes. Rosie, you'll be fine. You'll make it just fine.
Yeah, I had never even fired a gun in my whole life, and I was 18 years old, and you know, I was scared of a gun.
But still, your motive, you know, your why, as I talk about in my book, the motive, the purpose, the reason behind your action. You know, commitment means an unrelenting personal decision to remain focused without quitting. I mean, you were really committed. And it's exciting to have the younger generation, you know, everyone listening here tonight in the show, and share this, the passion of men that made a decision for their country. And you were fighting for the country and fighting for your family. You were 18, never picked up a weapon, but it's the first time I ever heard this. So you were responsible for killing the most communists in your infantry?
My division, the 25th Infantry Division, we were called cacti. Our emblem was a cactus. We had a lot of spines coming out.
That's good. That's good. That's good. I like
and,
that. That's good.
You know, to make a long story short, I couldn't even speak good English. I think I speak it pretty good nowadays. But, you know, I was chosen to drive for the battalion commander, which was Colonel John Milliken. A lot of times I had to do sign language because I didn't understand what the hell he was saying.
That's powerful.
And, well, he got promoted, and he left. And we had a gentleman by the name of James Lee Erickson, one-star general. And the colonel told him, he says, don't get a new driver because this guy will give his life for you. So he kept me. I stayed as his driver, James Lee Erickson. You can look him up. One-star general. And I drove for him for 18 months. I drove for him while we were in Hawaii because we would go to Vietnam and come back. We didn't stay there the whole time. We used to go like 90 days, come back.
Wow.
And you know, he taught me a lot because he even taught me how to speak good English. Every time I made a mistake, he said, "Damn it, that's not the word you say." And I love that man. I know he's in heaven today.
That's good. That's good.
Basically, you know, I got out of the Army. 6 years. I spent 6 years in the military, and when I got back, I went into business. I never worked for anyone in my life.
Interesting, and that's the entrepreneur capitalism spirit. And that's why in Cuba right now, there's no opportunity. There's no capitalism spirit. Just share about what's going on now that's really affecting you, really, about Cuba. What's going on in the streets of Cuba and for the Cuban people.
Well, to tell you the truth, these have been the happiest days of my life because I've been waiting for this to happen for so many years.
We didn't talk about this. We didn't chat at all tonight. We just came and ate some great food by Chef Rosie, who's about to pass out over there. Besides that, and we're all going good, Christy, right? Streaming good, everything's rock and rolling. So, I know you're a fighter, and as I said the other day to someone, I said, look, this had to happen. You can only hold down God's people so long. The regime, the people are rising up because enough is enough. So share with everyone why this is, look, if I said that, I already get enough hate email and hate this and hate that. You say it. This is a great section. We're going to pull this section from this show and take. So why you, Julio Martinez, so you said it's one of your happiest days of your life. Why?
Because, I had never thought I would live long enough to see Cuba being free, and I see it very close. I think that Cuba will probably be free this year, and I am hoping for that.
Amen.
And I would hope also that the president that we have in the United States, has a stomach ache and has to leave the White House, because this is the worst president I've ever seen in the 65 years that I lived in this country. I hope you're watching, Mr. Biden. You're a waste. This is the worst president.
Why? Why? Just expand it. Well, don't even. It's just the worst man. He's not even a president. He didn't win. So it's like you're a boxing champion. If all of a sudden it's round 15 and the three judges, let's say it was me fighting Rosie, and Rosie Rosie beat the daylights out of me, but I won. It's like the judges. It's fake. It's like she didn't win. It's like, and it's going to be a recount. I'm going to watch the film. So he's not the president. He's just temporarily in there. And you could see this. You could just see it's crumbling. That's why it's trying so hard. So
he's actually a clown.
That's right. He's done one time.
Well, Frank and I have worked for, I think, 4 or 5 presidents. Every Republican president that runs for office, Frank and I have been there for him ever since Mr. Reagan.
That's right.
We started with Reagan, and we went down the whole. Every time that a president runs on the Republican Party, this guy and I are the ones they look for.
Yeah, Julio headed the Miami-Dade County campaign in 2016. The entire county he headed, and I had a Trump victory office in the southern part of the county. So I worked directly with Julio.
Yeah,
but way before that, I also worked with him because I was superintendent of the Hialeah schools when he was mayor. I said the best mayor I ever had, the one that loved education the most. He would visit school with me. We would read books to the kids together. I've never met a mayor that ever did that anywhere.
And you're running for mayor now.
Yeah.
Well, because the folks that are running for mayor now are a waste.
Good.
None of them have ever had. The city of Hialeah doesn't have a regular mayor. The mayor of the city of Hialeah is the administrator, and none of the folks that are running, except for the lady Isis Garcia, she was a councilwoman when I was the mayor, and she does have some administrative skills because she owns her own business. The other 4 have never, ever been an administrator at any business, not even a coffee shop.
And none of them have been a veteran of any war either.
Well,
you're the only one.
Sounds like Biden.
Well,
never had a job, never done anything.
Well, Hialeah has been a city for 96 years. I'm the only guy that ever went to war. I'm the only veteran that ever served as mayor of the city of Hialeah. And, I'm proud. I'm proud.
Right. You should be.
I don't know of any mayor that Miami-Dade County that was a veteran. He's the only one.
And he went to war at 18 to protect this country he loves so dearly. So back to the point of what we said, which is powerful about the happy state right now for you about Cuba uprising. I had a conversation with someone. I spoke at an event on Friday, and I said, look, make sure I know they're watching it tonight. And I said, look, I'm not qualified to speak on that topic, but I know Julio and Frank, and I'm going to have Rose up here in a few minutes. But just share with everyone why, once again, I just want to reaffirm that, Julio, why like you said, you never thought you'd live long enough to see this happen.
Well, for the last few days, every time I turn on the television, I see the people beating up on the police over there. I never dreamt that I would see that because, people fear for their lives. And when you go against a guy with a gun and start beating the heck out of him with your fist, something's about to happen. And I think that, that's why I'm so happy with what's going on.
That's good.
And I just hope that they don't lose that, what's going on. I take this government out.
How many people are in Cuba? How many people are in? How many residents in Cuba right now? How many people live there?
I don't know, 7 or 8 million?
No, about 11.
11? I don't know.
11 million?
11, 12 million people.
So there's 12 million people. You can't stop 12 million people.
No, you can't.
You can't stop 12 million people who have the fire of loving them, and you got family members that are obviously praying for them, and the power of prayer. And the power of prayer is very important right now. Pray. You got to pray in agreement that it's achieved. You got to pray by faith. Faith is not seeing what's going to happen.
Never lose hope.
It's a never
lose hope.
Ever.
Well, you showed some of the videos last time you interviewed me.
Yep.
It's incredible. People with no weapons.
That's right.
Fighting the police, storming police cars, burning places. I mean, it's incredible.
That's right.
People can't take it anymore. It wasn't a planned thing. It happened in a tiny little town and spread to 40 cities all over Cuba.
It's just
from one end of Cuba to the other.
It's called We the People.
Right.
You talk about we the people. That's we the people in Cuba.
Yeah, but John, let me tell you, John, the thing that bothers me the most is those Cubans left Cuba and living here and are still communists. And we have tons of those here. And, I keep looking for them because every time I see one, I call them out.
Call them.
To their
Talk to the
face.
camera. Tell them tonight.
Yeah, I know who you are, and if I find out who you are, you're going to be in deep doo-doo. That's all I can say. You don't need to be here if you're a communist. Go back to Cuba.
Is there any names you want to mention?
No.
I can mention one.
Good.
I can mention one. The Homeland Security guy. He's a
Good.
Cuban American. Alejandro Mallorca.
Mallorca.
He's a communist. He also worked for.
Tell the camera strong, Frank.
Yeah.
Get fired up.
He's the head of the Homeland Security, Alexander Mallorca. You are a communist, and you're working for the communist administration. That's who you are, a communist.
Why? How's he communist? What kind of traits?
Well, he helped restore relations with Cuba. He's saying any Cuban that we get on at sea, we send it back to Cuba. But 100 countries are entering to the southern boundary, and they're okay that they can come in. They can bring COVID. We put it on a bus so you can spread all over the country. 30% of those coming from the southern border, we don't know who they are because we don't capture them. So how can you say no to the Cubans, but yes to everybody else from the southern border? Because they think the people from the southern border, someday they're going to be voting Democratic. I don't know anybody from Cuba who's lived under communism, unless they're communists. But most of the people living from Cuba have experienced communism, and they don't want it. Most of them, of course. There are some coming from Cuba that maybe spies and things like that.
Sure.
Too.
But guys, that's why what we're doing here tonight on our CBJ Real News podcast show, what we just stated, you will not hear that in any other news station out there, right? Well, you just stated, that's the truth. I mean, you just called him out. You called him the truth. Like my grandfather would say, look, I sleep real good at night because I just speak the truth. I don't worry about what I have to say, or I don't have to remember what I said because I always speak the truth. What you just said is the truth. If the Cubans come to America and they're under real, now obviously on the life-threatening situation versus hundreds of millions of people coming and storming the border, and this is where Governor Abbott line the border with the National Guard. Governor Abbott, do your job, Abbott, right? Governor Abbott, do your job. Line that border, shut it down, and I'll call Abbott out on that because it's so important.
Well, our governor sent some of our police there to help out.
That's right.
In Arizona and Texas.
That's
Governor
right.
DeSantis.
But I mean, let this sink in. If that's not a communist, where he's not going to let one Cuban in, that's really under, stressful situation. Versus, there's probably, right, we're sitting here right now, 8,000 illegals walking across the border in Arizona, and that's why you guys have the passion to just share the truth.
Let me tell you about the word of truth. When I was a very young kid, every kid lies to get out of trouble.
Not you. Right.
And my dad told me when I was about 8 years old, and I got caught in a lie, and he says, you are not smart enough to remember everything you say, so always speak the truth.
That's it.
Those words have guided my life, and I will not allow my children. I have 4 children and 8 grandkids, and the only thing that I require from it, they always tell the truth. I said, look, you may get a spanking, but you told the truth.
That's right.
And it works. It works, and I just love this country to no end, and I will be in the face of anyone that doesn't love this country until the day that they put me in the ground. I've died 3 times, by the way. I have died 3 times, and I'm still here hanging on. And Frank knows about it. One time, last time 6 years ago, I got hit by a car, and I flew 30 feet up in the air. I have all kinds of broken bones, but I'm still fighting and still running
Look at
5
awesome.
miles a day.
And running 5 miles a day, eating healthy food here with the chef. And I'm bring the chef up next. But I want to give you guys, I want to give a quick station identification. I want to thank all of you listening. My name is John Lamy, the founder, conservative business channel, and the host of the CBJ Real News Podcast Show. Make sure all of you do follow us on all of our variety of apps, and make sure when you visit cbjrealnews.com on your smartphone, it says get the app now. We're on every podcast platform out there. And please share this episode. And also on cbjrealnews.com, there's 2 things you want to do. There's a place for you to put your email in, subscribe to our email database. That goes beyond all the social media, so we're able to email you and communicate with you. Then, since I'm censored a bit on all the different areas, make sure you're following me on Telegram. For those of you that are on Telegram, just search out CBJ Real News. CBJ Real News comes up. It just says join channel. And like we're streaming right now on Rumble. Make sure you guys follow us on Rumble. We're probably going to clear 40,000 subscribers on Rumble here quickly. So I appreciate you guys following us on Rumble. And just go to rumble.com. Channel is CBJ Real News.
So one thing before.
Go right ahead.
He's 60 years old. My dog tag.
Dog tags. Chrissy, take a picture of us. Oh, yeah, okay.
By the way, he rose all the way to sergeant.
That's excellent.
I was a sergeant and I couldn't even speak English.
That's good.
And
But your heart was right.
Huh?
But your heart was right. But one, just stay for another 30 seconds. Make sure all of you guys, when you visit cbjrealnews.com, you'll see it says library of episodes, and there's all alphabetical order, and you'll see Julio Martinez under M. I've interviewed you twice because you spoke at one of my events a year and a half ago. You're speaking again at our We the People Fight Back event. This is your beautiful face right here. This is Julio, right there. Julio Martinez is one of the 22 speakers we're going to have. Who knew when we're doing this level of what's going on with Cuba right now? I can't wait to be in front of that room and say that it's one of your happiest days of your life about Cuba. It's so important to understand what's going on. I'll talk more about the event here in a few minutes. But make sure you guys go to the library of episodes and listen to the last time I was down here. I interviewed Julio throughout your whole office for almost an hour. He's got a lobby out there with pictures and just nostalgia and history of America. And also Frank on the Frank's last name, Deverano, been I think 4 times. Frank, that's awesome. Thank you, Julio, and I'll bring you back on in a few minutes. But now we're going to have the world famous, the infamous Rosie. Rosie, come on up, young lady.
Best cook in town.
She is a vegan chef.
I've
You are one of
heard
the
you.
best. You are one
For
of the
you
best.
and Christy.
You're one of the best chefs. Look at the camera. Look how awesome you look. You look way better than me and Julio and Frank. Isn't she? And you got your mom here tonight, right?
My
How young
mom.
is you? Your mom's 80 years young, correct?
80 years young.
Give her around 80 years young.
And her husband
did a
was
lot for
a Bay of
Cuba.
Pigs veteran. Her husband was in the Bay of Pigs with me.
That's excellent. That's
He
excellent.
passed away already, but so
Good fighter.
she's the daughter of a Bay of Pigs veteran. That's the mother who was married to one.
My dad's watching tonight. My dad's 92 years young. He's a veteran. He's watching tonight. And my mom's watching. She's 90.
Hi,
So-
Dad. Hi, Mom.
So they're all fired up. But Rosie, now share everyone what you're wearing. She looks awesome, right? She got the fight colors on, right?
Well, I'm a fighter.
Okay.
That I am. Well, I'm dressed like this in solidarity with the people from Cuba. We're trying to prove, that we can do something as they are doing. We have to join them,
That's
in
right.
prayer and everything, so that hopefully something will come of this, because this is big history.
That's right.
Cuba divided a lot of families.
Why?
Um,
How?
Well, when my father went into the Bay of Pigs, my cousin, his first nephew, was against him because he was with Fidel. So my grandparents sat home and thought, are they going to kill each other if they see each other? What's going to happen? And it was just a very mind-boggling thing for them. It was a constant divided family.
Sure.
That's their motto, divide. And this is what they've lived on for 62 years. They don't know better. My father was also a prisoner, like Frank. He was, when they were captured, they were stuck into a big semi-rig. They called it the Ratra de la Muerte, the truck of death, I guess you can say.
Say it again.
The-
Truck of death. Wow.
Right, it was one of those big semi, and they had like 200 men in there, and 10 of them died. And when they went to close the doors, they actually said, if you
Wait,
close the
tell me more. I
doors,
want the truck of death. Tell me. First time I'm hearing that.
they
I
were
take notes.
caught.
Tell me about that.
They
please.
were caught as prisoners of war, and they stuck them in there to transfer them from where they were. Where were they, Frank?
In the Bay of Pigs area,
Right. Playa Girón, and they were
Havana.
transferred to Havana, which is like an 8-9 hour drive.
Yeah. And they actually told Osmani Cienfuegos,
Yes.
who's still alive, he's like almost 90. He said, we're all gonna die there.
Yeah.
Because as soon as there's no way we can breathe. And then he answered them, well, that's what we want, to kill you, so we don't have to shoot you. And
We don't have to use the bullets.
The bullets.
You know,
And we will
bullets.
save bullets.
You know,
when
to
all of
mention
them
too,
die
and
there.
this is why we do what we do. People always go, well, like our event coming up at the end of the month in Naples, which is almost sold out. People go, oh, I've been to events before. I never heard a truck of death until tonight. You always got to be learning. And remember, you're not going to hear that anywhere. I guaranteed on Fox you won't hear it. Because when Fox called Arizona, you knew their heart, by the way. When Fox called Arizona, you knew they were a liberal station, and they were starting. And they would. Remember, I've been on Fox. I won't be on Fox again. But remember, they started to show the true colors. That truck of death, I never heard that until tonight.
Yeah.
God bless your husband.
One very good news.
Wow.
One very good news.
What was it?
So,
Tell the camera, young lady.
so basically, that's what happened. Every year they celebrate the anniversary of that, because it was a very treacherous thing for the people. They were suffocating. They took their belt buckles. I remember my father telling me the stories. They opened up a little hole. They would take turns trying to breathe, through these holes, and it was very, very bad. But needless to say, my mother had to come before him with my 1-year-old brother. And the division, constantly the division, to them, divide is
Once again,
divide and conquer.
sounds familiar, doesn't it? Is there,
Very
is there a
familiar.
division in America right now?
My father said to me, I don't want my son away in Cuba.
So just say it again. So
I want you to live.
My dad told my mom, I don't want my son here in Cuba. I want him to live free.
I want you happy.
And he, she was able to leave.
And that's what I did.
But my mom was a feisty one.
She's 80 years young, feisty right now.
She
She's gonna come up next.
used to. So I
Good.
I heard that she used to do like propaganda and stick it in her skirt and take it to different.
Come on, walk up here. Just walk her around. Come on here. Chrissy, just walk her around.
So the government actually went into her house and took her sewing machine.
You just walk her around.
Yeah. They took her sewing machine because they were sewing the propaganda in her skirt where she would take it to different. So she's always been a feisty one. I guess maybe I take after her and my dad.
When Fidel got there,
Tell the camera, young lady. You're on. Come on, this way.
Over here.
when Fidel got there, I started to do some things, some work.
Can you see her? Move her a little bit.
Mr. Frank,
We got a special guest tonight. So
Mr. Frank,
You know
contra propaganda. What was it? What was it?
Just talk to the
Contra
camera that way, yeah.
propaganda.
Wait, I don't want
I can't see her.
Oh yeah, just
Okay, here, hold on. I'll stand up.
I started to do propaganda with some people.
Échate para acá, que no está saliendo.
And we used to go to the
Getting
farms,
comfortable.
and spread out like contra revolución.
Yeah, posters against the government.
And they,
But the government broke into her
Silent
house.
rebellion against the government.
when it
What
was
happened?
time to come over, when my husband left Cuba, I don't know what he was going to build there. Bay of Pigs.
Yeah, because they took him to train.
They took it
Go
to
back to the posters again.
to
Just tell me what you
Nicaragua,
were saying.
right, Frank? No,
To Nicaragua.
We train in Guatemala.
Guatemala, right.
en Guatemala.
She didn't even know he was going.
Yo no sabía eso. I don't even know that. So people started to send me messages from here to my house, to me. So that's how I know that he was going to go there.
Wow.
Fight.
Fight for you and the family and for Rose.
Right. Then I started to do propaganda.
The poster, like
Posters,
like
and I used to
pamphlets,
travel to farms
to try to get the people to
to
not to get into the
know that was
truth.
communism. when we were
Communist was coming.
there. Someday they
It's amazing.
almost, I don't know how I was going to get in jail.
She was gonna go to
Because
jail
I was doing something,
And
against
she's,
the
and
government.
she's gonna be 80 next month. How awesome! Give her a round. of
Against the
applause.
government.
81.
Against the government. When I got here in the United States, I love politics. I'm telling you. And I started to see TV. I don't know much English. I used to work at the Fontainebleau Hotel as a waitress. And that's how I learned English and TV.
English and TV as a
Politics.
waitress
I
in a hotel.
cannot go to the high school here because no English, I don't have to work hard
It's awesome.
for myself. And I started to watch TV and watch politics. I wanted to go back to high school or something, you know, so I can learn more English.
Wow, it's powerful. That's powerful.
Then,
2 years later, my father came.
Just because
2 years
repeat
later
that?
he came.
Yeah, well, that's
When
an
he
important
came
point.
over, I think it was 80 pounds.
Wow. But
When
was
I saw
just share again what your mother was saying when she went to, just share everyone what she said about learning English in a hotel, just so you could.
Yes.
Oh yeah, she went to work for the Fontainebleau Hotel. And
Fontainebleau in Miami.
Fontainebleau, Miami Beach. She actually served a lot of known people.
Stars.
Muhammad Ali,
David Reynolds, Ed Sullivan, Muhammad Ali.
Colonel Sanders from
Colonel
Kentucky Fried
Sanders.
Chicken.
Oh.
And they wanted her to serve them. I guess maybe because of the hospitality of us, you know,
And
Cubans, just like the
And how,
Italians.
and how beautiful I was. That's true.
That's true, yeah.
As a Bacalao.
I
I
showed
showed him
him
a
a
picture
picture
of
today.
me today.
And he was like,
He said,
oh.
oh my God.
So, well,
I started to watch politics on TV.
That's good.
And that's how I started to learn more English. Maybe it's impossible, but I did that.
Just tell Chrissy.
I did that. I started to learn English. And politics is my life. That's what I like.
Wow.
I don't
That's
watch
excellent.
soap opera. I don't watch anything. Ask my daughter.
24 hours a day.
24 hours.
That's
Politics.
excellent.
Politics.
That's excellent.
Wonderful.
I mean, that's what we need. We need fighters. We need people getting the truth. I mean, I think it's interesting. You're making posters of propaganda.
Yeah, propaganda. Sometimes we have to hide in the car. Sometimes
You have to hide.
we have to hide in the floor of the car because
If they have found her, they
Oh,
would have
you
put it
mean-
in prison.
Yeah,
You
she
mean
would have
it's-
gone to jail.
I mean, it kind of sounds like the century kind of sounds like Amendment 230, why I'm banned on all the social media platforms.
Yes.
I talk about communism works, but
different time.
where communism controls the media and steals the vote. That's all they're doing in Cuba is they control the media.
by
mean,
the
they
time
murder
I was
radio
going to
shows,
come
yeah.
to this country, the police come to my house and say, "Do you have a sewing machine here?" I was saying, "No, I don't have any. I don't even know how to sew." My neighbor was the one who do the
sewing.
propaganda, so
Wow.
I can throw it. And I said, "You can wash my house, see if I have any sewing machine." No, it was okay. So
They were on to
I
it, though. They were
got
on to
Oh,
it.
you watch, yeah, because you're out there
with
doing
a
it.
visa waiver on God.
You would, if that was back then, you'd be banned on Facebook.
Yes.
Well,
You'd be
that
banned-
was
you'd be-
something.
but let's bring it to today. You'd be banned on Facebook. You'd be banned
Oh,
on Twitter. You'd
yes,
be banned on
like
YouTube.
that,
You'd be,
yes.
like me. You'd be banned on LinkedIn. You definitely wouldn't be on Fox News.
Well,
So, guys,
actually,
I want to see Frank because we're firming up and we'll recap. We'll go back one page in book about socialism and communism. Everything you're saying right now was going on back then is going on now in a different medium.
mhm.
Different media. Right.
That's the first thing
Fidel
Fidel did, take over the media. Is that not true, Frank? The first thing he did was take over the media, the radio and the TV. Well,
So,
little TV.
I was a dangerous.
She was the
I
taker.
was a dangerous.
So where's the picture? You're looking awesome.
Oh,
Let's show it to
her
me after the
picture.
show.
Yeah, we gotta show it to him after.
Uh-huh.
And who's the best mayor? Julio? Your politics, right? You got
Yeah,
what to say?
Julio López.
I just wanted
All
to
the
share
way.
one thing that I saw yesterday, which really upset me a lot.
Because Rose sends me pictures of what's going on now in Cuba, and I want to share a little bit on that also. Chrissy,
Actually,
anyone want to recognize that? I know
actually,
we'll recognize
this
anybody
gentleman
else.
here was dancing.
He's dancing.
Having fun.
That's that.
He's dancing to Willie Chirino's Free Cuba song. Look at him. While these people are going through what they're going through,
That's
can't find him.
That's him.
That's him dancing with his wife.
He's an assassin, Frank said.
That's the president of Cuba.
And
That's
that's a
what-
Willie Chirino song.
What song is it?
It's a Willie Chirino song that says the time is near for Cuba to be free.
So he's this
He's
idiot.
dancing to that.
He doesn't even know he's just a complete more. He's
Look
like
at that.
Can you believe that?
It's to make fun. Like being
he's cocky, arrogant,
yeah, it's to make
condescending.
fun.
If this is
Because that's
this
a
is
song
just
Like
like
he
that
can
Cuba's
eat-
going to be free soon.
guys.
But I
You
So
don't
he's
think-
dancing
I
to
don't-
that song.
This guy better read this.
Yeah.
Pharaoh. What happened? What happened in the Bible? You can only play with God so long before David and Goliath. When David said, "Look, Goliath, I killed Goliath," and he cut his head off, brought it back to the camp to see what I did to him, because he's a giant. We're going to slay him. He's a sick man. Looks like Governor Newsom in California.
Yes.
He's a sick man,
Sick man.
partying, having a good
Right.
time. Looks like De Blasio, all the communist mayors, Mayor
Yeah.
Lightfoot, all
They
that.
hit a guy the other day so hard in his head that his eyes popped out.
I have I see few presidents here, you know.
Say it again. What was that?
Like,
She's seen few presidents
Presidents,
since the
when I
time
come
she got
over.
here.
like Kennedy, Mr. Nixon. I was the compatriot of Mr. Nixon in the Fontainebleau.
What was that? What was that?
Nixon, Richard Nixon.
Oh, Richard Nixon.
Richard Nixon. Reagan, a lot of presidents.
It's awesome.
Yes.
That's excellent.
So,
But we have to
Well,
work
thank you for
hard.
your guest
This is-
appearance tonight. Tell you mom's awesome. Thank
Okay,
you.
Mami,
and
awesome.
beside that, I know a lot of politicians. By name, you ask me whatever.
She should run for city council in Miami, I believe.
In Hialeah.
Look at her shirt.
I know
Yeah.
Julio.
Julio
Well,
Martinez.
actually, I was gonna comment on that.
Okay, good,
Julio, when he finally decided to run for mayor, he calls me and he says, I'm gonna run for mayor. I said, really? He says, yeah, I worked so hard in Florida for so long to make it a red state, It used to be blue, and I can't let all this hard work go.
That's right, that's right.
And this
that's
is
right,
where we all,
That's right,
Black. Yo estoy muy orgullosa de
that's
ella.
right, that's
I'm
right.
very proud of her.
Yeah, you have a wonderful daughter.
Because I never saw that she was gonna be like
Just
this.
say it to the camera, and then Chrissy will walk you
Yes,
off.
I'm very proud of my daughter because I never saw about she was gonna be in politics like me.
That's
like
awesome.
politics.
That's good.
Yes,
It's good.
and I want to
I'm behind the scenes.
No, you're not. Get back in the chair.
Oh, in the chair here? Oh, goodness. Yes.
But I want, so Rosie, but something you share with me too, is very difficult, because you share with me some pictures of some brutality going on in Cuba, and that really upset you. I mean, there's people being murdered, shot, killed right now in Cuba.
Not only people, it's kids.
Yes.
These are children.
13-year-old.
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 They pull them and they drag them out of their homes from, their parents. I mean, they dress them up with a uniform and they give them one of those police shields and a stick, and you see them, they're like nervous. They're looking around. What am I supposed to do? They don't know. They see these crowds coming, but yet the humanity, the sentiment that we have as Cubans, or we have been taught, that even though the crowd is there and all of the police is behind and they're all 13, 14-year-olds standing there, they won't ram them. They won't. They just stand back and say, they're kids. What are you doing? They're 13, 14-year-olds. Look at how they are. They're shaking.
That's right.
You guys are animals.
They're animals. And then nobody's, that's why we talk about our event, We the People Fight Back event. That's what our event, we're going to have a whole full round. We're going to have Dr. Ober take part in this. Obviously, you remember Dr. Ober, who's going to speak a lot about communism also, obviously coming from the Yugoslavia, from the Serbian effect of communism. You're going to have Alex.
I
also
was
speaking.
blessed to have been born here.
That's right.
I feel myself very, very blessed. I think my parents, my dad accompanied Frank to try to do something and make a change.
Did you
for
know him
Cuba.
back then?
No, I didn't know.
And they were actually
It's
together.
amazing how God's putting all the
They were
warriors.
actually together on the ship.
Wow.
Yeah, we were in the Houston that sank by enemy planes.
Right.
But I never met his dad. We were together, but
Wow.
And, like I said, I've been blessed to be born in this country.
I want to say something else.
Yeah, just say it.
Dime, mami, dilo de ahí, dilo de ahí,
Yeah, and then
dilo
you
de ahí.
repeat it, yeah.
¿Qué tú quieres decir?
Lo mejor para
She's
The
fired
most
up.
important. She said this is the most important part. ¿Qué cosa ahí?
She's going. She's doing good. She's up here good. Firm, you gotta watch where she walks.
I
You're up
want to
next.
say that all the presidents I have, the one that I like was Mr. Reagan, And the most that I love is Mr. Trump.
Why?
Yeah.
When I see Mr. Trump on TV, I shake.
She shakes it.
And I go crazy. And I cry and everybody say, ask my daughter.
She
ask
does.
my daughter."
She does.
I love that man.
Good.
I love it.
That's because he loves
Because
Americans.
He's
He loves everybody.
sincere.
That's right.
He talks with his heart.
That's right. That's
You
right.
know?
That's right.
Right, Frank?
Absolutely.
That's right.
I
Trump,
love,
best
I
president
love
we ever had.
Mr. Trump.
The best,
Really. And family.
He's empowered. We the people.
Yeah.
We the
Thank you very
people.
much. Thank you.
Well, like I said, I've been blessed. I've been blessed to have been able to, enjoy this ride.
And should more
in a
people wear what
free
you're
country.
wearing? Tell people one final point, Rosie.
In a free country. But it worries me where we're headed.
But like Julio said, he's happy it's happening.
Yeah.
Don't worry's not mentioned in the Bible. Faith.
No, I'm worried about what's happening
Faith is the
here.
evidence thing. Faith is the
Because
evidence.
if this is
Yeah.
it, we
gonna-
have nowhere to go from here.
Except up.
Exactly.
Remember the story of the Red Sea in the Bible? There was nowhere to go but God and our faith. And Moses and Pharaoh, it's the same real faith. Every word matters. Every belief matters. But tell people what they should, because I saw flags around here in Miami.
SOS Cuba.
Yeah.
Save Cuba. Cuba. Cuba.
That's
Everything is about Cuba in these past few weeks.
You're awesome, Rosie.
Who would have told us when we planned all of this
Oh yeah, this is
that
God
all of
moving.
this was going to
That's
be
right.
going
God's
on?
moving. That's right. That's
Okay.
right. That's right. Give a round of applause.
Thank you.
Gordon, come on in, young man. And I'm going to have Furman up here for a couple minutes.
Hi, Sandy.
And then we're going to have, I'm going to ask Frank a few more questions, and we're going to recap. It's a great town hall tonight. So, Furman, you make me look smaller than Rosie now. So I look like I'm 4'9" next to Furman. So tell everyone. So you're from Cuba. What's going on in your mindset and your heart about what's happening in Cuba, and what do you want to share?
I'm born in Cuba, 1957. My parent is working on the electric company.
A little bit louder for the camera tonight.
Yeah. In 1954, what he called revolution, 26 July move. He taken my grandpa and all the family. I say, I got to kill you because you were behind us. And that started. In 1959, when he taken the power, my grandfather and my father, he go to La Cabaña, and the rest of the family is started do a counter-revolution and fighting behind Castro. It's a lot of things happening there. He got killed, people in jail, he got suffered, torture, and where he promised, so he got to do it, he do it reverse. He bring the Russian people to my country and make a slave. It's no freedom, no what he promised, and all the people he used to fight it before with the good government from Batista. He tried now fight it with Castro. What happened is more than 30,000 prisoners on jail, and a lot of people got shot in La Cabaña and different parts. You talk about more than 15,000 people got killed because there's no agree with him.
That's right.
Castro, he never is a good man. Castro is the name on the university called Bola de Churre, the dirty ball. And this man,
What's it called?
Bola de Churre, is the dirty man. And this man, he never have a good idea about what's supposed to do it with the best
For the people.
for the people
I mean,
in the country.
just interject. It's interesting. It sounds very familiar to what's going on here in America right now. Which, when we conclude, we're going to go to your book, Frank. I want you to go to the page about socialism and communism, because everything you're saying. So when did you? So how did you get to America?
Well, my father, when I come in 1962, we go to Spain for 1 year, and he worked with the Falange to take all the communist people got an infiltration in Spain, and he take it down, he make an interview, and he give it to the government. After that, he's coming to the country, and he started working for the government in United States. Okay, and he have an operation in more than 150 countries. what he tried to do is they located the freedom fighter to the communists, not only in Cuba, all over the places. Thank God, the last thing he wanted to do when he retired is stay in Israel for 3 months, and he got it. Let me tell you something. Communism is not good anywhere. It's not good. Definitely, it's a group we got to control to all the people, and he put a sleeve. And never, when you born freedom.
That's right.
And with this group, you don't got nothing.
How much you love America, Furman?
Oh, I love my life. My life, if I had to die for this country, I do it. We close my eyes.
It's good.
It's the best country. It's the country help you. Everybody in the world. I never ask it for nothing. That is the way I learning. What is America? It's a hospital. It's a humble country. When I come into this country, I got a lot of help you for different people. No instant. That is the way I learned to help the people.
It's good.
Believe me or not, I have another history of what happened in Cuba. More than 15,000 kids. It's called Pedro Pan. The Catholic Church take away from the country, and all the money he give it to the church, and he bring it to this country, and he got to help you over here. The rest of the family of this kid, sometimes it take 30 years to come back to see the kid, because that is a history. But all the Cubans coming for that group is very important people in this community, and it's growing with so many things. And believe me or not, he's a banking guy, he's a property guy, architect. He got all kind of engineers, all kind of technician. And the country, he do it because he want to help you.
So what do you want to say on a final point for you? Your shirt says "We the People," right?
We the people, yeah.
Shirt's been awesome. The cane's got. Hold your cane up for a second. Oh, the cane.
Oh,
It's got the flag on the cane. So this is once again another proud American who realizes communism is horrible.
This is my country. I love Cuba, but I can't love like I love this country.
That's good. That's good. God bless you, brother. Thank you. Thank you. So now, back to my man, Dr. Frank, Professor Frank, Historian Frank, husband of 80 the champion here tonight. So let's go to your page in your book, Frank. You said, and you guys learning tonight? It's a good show. Chris, we're doing good on there. All's good.
Shout out to Lynn Wood.
Lynn Wood is on. Lynn Wood is awesome. Say hello to Lynn Wood, Frank.
Hi, Lynn.
And Lynn.
Glad that you're watching.
And Frank, what I want you to do tonight, I want you to autograph a book for Lynn, and we will send one to Lynn. Lynn, you would love reading this book, Frank's book.
All right.
The Bay of Pigs, the Kennedy assassination, the Vatican, and the New World Order. It's tremendous. And Frank, so go to your page in book, please, on there.
Well, this is very interesting. This is a color book. I only have one for me. But anyway, this is a book I wrote called Socialism or Freedom.
Just say a little bit aloud.
Socialism or Freedom, the 220 election and beyond.
Oh, so it says right here, it says, some people say that they're not the same, but the goal of socialism is communism. Lenin said that.
Vladimir Lenin.
Lenin said.
You should know, right?
After all, he was an expert on the issue. So Frank.
And then we have 2 prime ministers of England.
Who's that?
Winston Churchill.
Churchill.
And the Iron Lady. And Winston Churchill said it best. You can read it here, what he said about socialism.
Churchill said, British Prime Minister Winston Churchill gave one of the best definitions of the failure of socialism. He said the following: socialism is a philosophy of failure, the creed of ignorance, and the gospel of envy. Its inherent virtue is the equal sharing of misery. Wow.
And look what the Iron Lady said.
And then Margaret Thatcher says, the problem with socialism is that you eventually run out of other people's money. And
that's what's happening in America here. We're spending money like crazy for stupid things like climate change.
It's the first time in history that the Fed, which is dead, that the debt in America is more than a total economy. It's never happened before.
Never.
I mean, because you have people that have fraudulently elected that are not elected, and I know Lynn is on tonight, and that's the reason why he's been banned. And he's obviously, on Telegram or many events we're out together, is because we're sharing the truth about the stolen election, and that's one thing that you talk about a lot: the stolen election and what's going on in Cuba right now. But what do you want to say about, based on what Julio said earlier about? How does it make you feel that people are rising up in Cuba right now and really this?
Well, I feel very proud of the Cuban people because they don't have any weapons, and they're fighting an army, police with weapons, and you see them. You've seen the videos. We had a program with you. You showed some of those videos.
That's right.
People being killed in the middle of the street. You see them being shot. They fall on the middle of the streets, bleeding to death. They break into homes. They kill the husband, drag him out. The wife is screaming. We see these videos make us ill. At the same time, like Julio said, we're very proud of the Cubans. They are revolting with no weapons because they can't stand communism.
It's called a revolution.
It's called a revolution.
It's called a revolution.
A good revolution.
Good revolution.
Yes. And this is going on in Cuba. And that's why it's so important. The message from Cuba to America is we have to keep the Second Amendment. We cannot turn our weapons. In 1959, the first thing that the communists did in Cuba was confiscate all weapons.
Yes.
That can never happen in America. If we lose our weapons, we're done.
And that's why you guys got to watch on my Rumble channel. You'll see a 2-minute video called Click Click, and it's the sound of freedom. It's Frank Valentine, who's going to be one of the keynote speakers along with yourself at the event here, the We the People Fight Back event. And there's Frank Valentine, owner of FirearmsAmerica.org. And he came from overseas, and he was a Muslim, accepted Christ, baptized in Christ. He's now a Christian believer.
From Uzbekistan.
From where was the country again?
Uzbekistan.
And he eyewitnessed when he was 15 years of age. He eyewitnessed 10 people being executed because they had no guns. And now he's really one of the nation's leading experts on guns, how to operate a gun, and why and how firearms are effective. I'm very excited about the double Franks together.
And that's why it's so important that we maintain the Second Amendment, the right to bear weapons. It's in the Constitution, and it was done by our founding fathers, not that we could fight another country, that we could protect our freedom. If we had a tyrannical government in America, that's why you had the weapons.
Because the Second Amendment,
we could not be oppressed.
In the Constitution, it's real simple. It says a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of, everyone say with me, the people, the right of the people.
Right.
The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. It's one sentence in the Constitution, the Second Amendment, right, Steve?
Right.
It's one sentence. Because it's a free state, a well-regulated militia to keep free. We said earlier, as we began, and we'll conclude here in a little bit, that the conservative means to keep secure and to protect from harm or corruption. If we don't have the right to vote, and we don't have, and that's what they're trying to steal from us, the right to vote. But thanks to people like Lynn Wood, General Michael Flynn, Mike Lindell. I also want to thank Mike tonight. He's a sponsor of tonight's show. Make sure when you guys visit mypillow.com, use promo code CBJ. That assists us in keeping our business going, and that assists Mike and his business going since we've been banned everywhere else. But you look at the real warriors who are exposing the truth about the fraudulent election, about communism. And guys, if you take a look at the Constitution, those of you should read the Constitution. In our event, we always give these out, right? As you know,
yes.
The Second Amendment is the smallest of the amendments, but it's the most powerful amendment.
It's the one that protects the rest of them.
Everything, because if you take the guns, and that's why America, more ammo and more weapons.
Absolutely.
And Steve, can you come up here real quick? Just walk around that way. I want to show the back of your shirt.
Steve is a
Who's on, Christy?
No, I didn't say. Thank you, Neva, for sharing.
Neva, you're awesome. Thank you, Neva. Thank you guys for sharing, liking, and also on all the podcasts.
And RX Wheel of Rumble, thank you. He said, wonderful people praying for the people of
Thank you.
Cuba.
And I want to thank you guys on Rumble that are streaming and chatting and sharing. It's excellent. So, Steve, it says right here, who's that? What's that say?
Steve Albert.
I don't have to worry about his name. I know he'll be fine with his voice. And it says, all gave some, and some gave all, right?
Yeah.
And then turn around. Steve, could you get this way, please? Just this way. And what's the shirt says?
I'm a veteran.
I'm a veteran. I believe in God, family, and country. I will salute my flag. I'm a proud American. That's an awesome shirt. That's just awesome.
Vietnam veteran.
And I think since you're up here, I think you want to sing right now, Steve? Yes, sing. I think we're gonna come right in here, please. I think what better way to conclude is sing the national anthem for us, please.
You got it.
I think we should. Can we stand, Chrissy? We'll be in the camera. Right. Where's the flag?
Right behind you.
Right behind you.
So we got to turn a little bit here. Well, actually, what we'll do is I'll hold the flag up here so we can get this way, so we can stay.
Right.
I always have the flag in my Bible. This is awesome.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
One last thing we're going to do here.
Well,
We have a
wait.
picture.
I tell you, one of the best parts of tonight is your young ladies back there standing up, the two young girls with their hands over their heart, flag.
Yeah.
That's why we do what we do here in America. That's why we do what we do. You see that tonight?
I see it.
that?
The
That's why we
future of
do-
America. See
That's
it
why
right
we
there.
never. I gotta sit down. I gotta warm up. That's why we never give up.
I'm back.
That's why.
Before we leave,
I'm back.
Before we leave,
That's enough.
we want to
That's-
rip
sit there.
apart. We want to rip apart.
Can we get this on maybe a quick video, Chris?
Yeah.
On this is one section. And guys, I appreciate you sharing, liking, commenting. This has been a great town hall on communism coming to you live from Hialeah. It's powerful. So you brought this tonight, Rosie, for us to
rip apart.
rip up.
To rip apart.
Yeah, you can rip apart Raúl
So I'm
Yeah.
ripping up. Who am I ripping
Castro.
up?
Raúl Castro, the
And I'm
dictator.
doing the Che
26
Guevara.
July movement. We rip
Get
it
out of
apart.
here.
Che Guevara.
Ouch.
May you rot in hell forever.
Rot in
There
hell
we go.
forever. Rot in hell forever.
Okay, there we are. Viva Cuba Libre! Down with the dictatorship.
That's awesome.
Thank you so
And
much.
I got some, Chrissy.
Now
I
I
got
have to
some.
pick up.
I got some gifts for you guys too. We'll give out afterwards. Yeah. What's that, Christy? What was that you said?
I said, yeah, we'll go into my.
So you guys, what an awesome town hall on communism, and make sure you guys.
Thank you, Christy.
And make sure for the event, the We the People Fight Back event, you guys can call or text 561-847-3467 or visit WeThePeopleFightBackEvent.com, WeThePeopleFightBackEvent.com, or you can send an email to team@conservativebusinessjournal.com. We're gonna have a phenomenal event. This was just a phenomenal town hall tonight.
Your conference in April was the best we ever attended, anywhere in America.
Thank you. Thank you.
Best conference.
Thank you. Thank you.
10 of us came from Miami to your conference in
Thank
April.
you. Thank you.
The beautiful Naples Houston. We'll see you there. all of the
We got people
20.
coming from 19 different states.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's powerful. So guys, with that said, good night. God bless you. And tomorrow night at 9:30 p.m. we have Sabine, who will be at the conference speaking also, along with more, which you met Sabine. She's an angel mom.
Yes, I met
She
her.
spoke in 2016 at the Republican National Convention. And also Maureen Maloney. You haven't met Maureen. She's a sweetheart. Her son was brutally killed by an illegal alien.
Wow.
Maureen's coming in from Massachusetts. So Sabine and Maureen will be live on my show tomorrow night at 9:30 p.m. I want to thank all of you who are supporters and sponsors that keep our news outlet going, because we're not going to cower down. We're not going to speak in code. We're not going to change who we are. I believe this was one of the greatest. I mean, where would you see on any other media station ripping up these animals like that? And like you said, frying hell for the rest of your life. Can't say that unless you can't say that without the
Maybe
right
rotting
conservative
hell.
sponsors. Yes,
Che
it's
Guevara.
good. But that's the only way you can
We
tell the
see that
truth, right,
guy.
Julio? That's the truth. That's why we as a media outlet, I want to thank all the supporters and sponsors. And, you know, we're going to have Frank's book available shortly, by the end of this week, I believe, Christy. We'll be rolling out conservativemarketplace.com, conservativemarketplace.com. We have a few products up there now, but it's time we as conservatives, Christians, and capitalism, the opposite of communism, we have to thrive. We can't cower down, right, Julio? We have to take it. You have to know the enemy and kill the enemy. I get fired up. Guys, good night. God bless you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm going to pass the savings directly on to you. Go to MyPillow.com right now to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. For example, you can get my premium MyPillows, regularly $69.98, now just $29.98, the lowest price ever.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Dave, that's right.